The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my show, The Right Side. Buckle up. Today, the dam is breaking. Kash Patel just went on record saying, we've got all the evidence. We're going to make arrests. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming soon. All right, arrests for the deep state coup plotters who tried to steal 2020 from us, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday, the White House added to it and dropped the hammer. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and DNI Tulsi Gabbard declassified proof that Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Brennan Clapper, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, the list goes on. The entire inner circle, they ran a seditious conspiracy to overthrow the 2016 election, as if we didn't know it. Now, it's been years, and a lot of you out there clamoring for arrests and so forth, and I understand it. I understand it. For 6 years, I have advocated, tried to give counsel to you. Patience, hang on. Facts like this, cases like this take time to develop. Testimony. You have to have depositions. Depositions take months to complete, to schedule. All of this was waiting for the right players to be in place. We didn't have the right players in place 10, 12, 15 years ago. We didn't have them in place during the last 4 years with Obama. Clearly not. So, ladies and gentlemen, America is awakening. We are awakening to all of this. You and I have known it. We've been awake. We've seen it. But the rest of America catching up, and we've got the right players in place now. So after years of watching the ruling class weaponize the FBI, the Department of Justice, and every institution there is against President Trump, against his family, against his inner circle, and weaponized it, quite frankly, against you, the patience that I've recommended is finally paying off. We're going to have ironclad, appeals-proof, and conviction-lasting cases. Justice. So this is not revenge. I want to be clear. And it's not retribution. That's garbage. True conservatives don't deal in revenge or retribution. Only purveyors of clickbait do that. We are after a restoration. We are after justice. And today, I'm giving you the full picture. The full picture that you're not going to hear anywhere else. The arrests coming, the 2020 election truth exploding, and America's winning strategy that's not only crushing Iran, but the Commusocialists, you know those guys formerly known as Democrats, they're in total panic for the midterms behind the scenes. And of course you've never heard that until now, because the mainstream media is not going to tell you that. The real hope that proud conservatism is delivering right now is on full display. All you got to do is look. I'm telling you, evidence of the obvious is sufficient. So let's start with the justice that's finally here. Kash Patel didn't mince any words over the weekend. He said they tried to thwart our elections, rig the entire system, and we're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and we're going to be making arrests, end quote. That's Kash Patel just the other day. So this is the man who knows exactly where the bodies are buried because he helped expose them. And I understand if some of you are going, well, I'll believe it when I see it, Billings. Okay, fair enough. But I've told you, for significant cases like this, they were being built, even when Pam Bondi was in the Department of Justice. They were being built. It takes time to build cases against top-level officials, all the way up to and including Obama and Hillary Clinton. It takes time. Like I say, we don't throw fiction at the wall to see if it sticks, like the radical left liberal Commusocialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, did. And look what happened as a result of them throwing fiction at President Trump. Everything was overturned or thrown out. So I have preached patience because we refuse to play their game of fiction. We don't play in show trials. We want the real thing, thank you very much. They rushed into the Russia hoax. They rushed into 2 sham impeachments, the Mar-a-Lago raid, the January 6th kangaroo court and hearing, all built on lies. And those cases collapsed. We're going to do this the right way. We are doing it the right way. We took back the institutions that they stole from us. We've gathered evidence that can't be shredded on an appeal. And now the time is here. So just yesterday, Caroline Leavitt stood at the podium in the White House and she read the declassified truth. Quote, Barack Hussein Obama, along with his entire administration, conspired to overthrow the United States government in 2016. Manufactured intelligence, politicized the entire system, all to stop Trump before he even took office. That declassification is the direct result of the patience that we exercised. And it proves the Russia collusion hoax was never about Russia, friends. It was about preserving the ruling class's power. And it ties straight into the 2020 coup that we've been exposing here on the right side for years. I founded my show 6 years ago precisely because of this. I wanted to tell the truth. I woke up the morning in the 2020 election and thought, what happened? We've just witnessed the theft of an American presidential election. Remember Eric Coomer? Remember him, the former director of strategy and security at Dominion Voting Systems? Well, he was caught on tape bragging about, and I'm quoting him, don't worry about it. Trump's not going to win. I've made effing sure of it. So that wasn't a slip. That was arrogance. It was narcissism. It was sedition. And then we have Tina Peters, the Colorado clerk who simply preserved the election data that her duty required. She was thrown into prison for nearly a decade by the Commusocialist, formerly known as Democrat Machine, in Colorado. Now the Department of Justice under Todd Blanche has formally requested Tina Peters' transfer into federal custody because she's a key witness in the unfolding federal case that I'm talking about. So this is not symbolism, ladies and gentlemen. This is operational. The very evidence that they tried to destroy is now protected at the highest levels. We've got to keep Tina Peters alive. And that's, my friends, what real justice looks like when conservatives refuse to mirror the circus over on the left. So now let's look abroad, because America, again, is leading with strength that changes history. It changes history, folks. Former Ambassador Gordon Sondland, he nailed it. I like the way he put it. He said that dealing with Iran is like breaking a wild horse. I'm quoting him here. He said, it's calm 1 minute, then violent the next. You get a step forward, then you lose half of it back, but you stay in the saddle. Sondland says what President Trump is doing. Pressure, pause, pressure again. It's exactly what the situation calls for, my friends. Then you got Richard Grenell. He added the killer detail. He said, quote, instead of boots on the ground, Trump's got boats on the water, and boats on the water are actually stopping Iran's ability to collect cash. Their economy is in free fall. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cusp of a historic win for that region of the world. And it's because America is finally back. We're finally back to credible leverage instead of endless cash and apologies and appeasement and just managing decline. While that's happening overseas, the Commusocialists, formerly known as Democrats here at home, have nothing left but panic. That's all they've got. One top analyst put it, their entire strategy for a decade has been fear. Every election is cast as the final firewall before catastrophe. And you notice that, ladies and gentlemen, something that I've been saying on this program for years. All they have is chaos. Chaos is the patron demon of the radical left movement in America. If they can't find chaos that happens organically, they'll create it artificially. That's exactly what they did with the George Floyd instance. Exactly what they did. All they need was George Floyd was just the fuse to light the chaos that the radical liberal communist socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, wants in this country. They want chaos. They want murderers on the street. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. Just look at what they do. Open borders is the largest example of it, but look what else. They in blue states and blue cities, attorneys generals and states prosecuting attorneys, they don't put serious pressure on criminals. They don't prosecute violent criminals with extreme prejudice. If they are given a sentence, it's a very light one, and most of the time they're let out early. So it begs the question, why? The answer is because they want chaos on the streets. What other conclusion can we possibly draw? They have no vision. They have no agenda, just endless alarms that voters are now exhausted by. That's why millions upon millions of dozens of people are leaving that party and coming over to the right side. So now we've got Susie Wiles and the GOP. They're teaming up, already lockstep, at the Waldorf Astoria in Washington, D.C., and they're coordinating data, they're coordinating messaging, and they're putting together the ground game to hold Congress and keep the agenda moving for the midterm, the elections. So the Commusocialists, formerly known as Democrats, they're screaming, resist, resist. It's all they got. They got no policy. They got no platform. They don't have any politics. While we deliver the results on the border, the economy, American security, they're crying, resist, Orange Man. It's all they've got. So this is the state of play in America. Justice is rising at home. Strength is reasserted abroad. And a desperate opposition that has painted itself into a corner. The damage of the last decade was real, ladies and gentlemen. But here is the hope that no poll can say. It's the hope that no poll can steal away from us. And it's this: proud conservatism, rooted in the rule of law, limited government, and American exceptionalism, is delivering the comeback that we've been waiting for. We've held the line, we have built the cases the right way, and we've stayed in the saddle. And now the restoration is here. America is awake like never before. America is strong again. America is winning again. So look, ladies and gentlemen, if you're fired up about real justice finally arriving, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. Drop a comment. Share this out wherever you're watching me. Share it, please. This is how we stand shoulder to shoulder. I'm dead serious about this. It's how we reclaim the republic away from the call of the radical liberal dark messiah Obama, who wants to fundamentally transform America away from the divine providence of God and the intent of the founding fathers. So like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell so that you never miss an episode of The Right Side. Set your notifications to alert you whenever I drop a new comment. We're in this thing together. And then finally, head over, please, to dougbillings.us and prayerfully consider contributing to the show. You can set up a monthly $5 a month small donation to the program at dougbillings.us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the long game. It's working. Patience has paid off. The best is still ahead. We're going to hold everyone accountable. We're going to keep you posted on this. And more than ever, ladies and gentlemen, we're in this thing together. Believe it. For the Republic, cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.